Hey guys, what's going on? Saggy Crayon here with another Isleward tutorial. This is the third part of my Isleward tutorial series. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Hopefully some new players are watching and getting something from it. Today, got a very exciting topic to go over, which is going to be runes. There are many different runes in this game. I want to say there's 20 or so different runes, or at least approaching that, and every single hero can use every single rune. Some heroes are more suited to certain runes because they scale off of intelligence, strength, dexterity, things of that nature, sometimes physical increase. But every hero is able to use every single rune. The runes in this game are incredible. Highly recommend trying out every single rune or watching this video so you can get a good idea of what every single rune does. All right, let's jump straight into the action. All right, I'm using Saggy Bear here to help me showcase some of the bear runes. There's a handful of different bear runes in Isleward. The first one we're going to take a look at is one of my favorite runes. It is the Charge rune. The Charge rune can be used by selecting either a butcher character or an enemy with your mouse. You click it, that selects your target, and then you activate the rune by either clicking on the rune or pressing the number 1, the number associated with that rune. Let's check it out. The charge, charging in. Oops, accidentally killed my buddy there. But there's your charge. You select an enemy, you click the number, you absolutely sprint in with the hits and do some damage. You might notice that I have a special spike launch up when my charge connects. That's because I'm using the Shield of Lustra that has a special proc on hit to have a crystal spikes cast. The next rune to talk about is the Slash rune. This is the staple for all bear characters. It's going to be a very strong attack. To show just how strong this attack is compared to a normal attack, my normal melee attack is showing a damage of 228. While my slash is showing a damage of 686. So it's going to be a much stronger hit. Regardless of how I attack these low-level mud crabs, it's going to be a one-hit KO. The slash is way stronger. The next rune to take a look at is the Whirlwind. This is the only area of effect rune for a bear that scales off of strength. To use the Whirlwind, just click number 3, double-click the rune, hit number 3, and it does a sweeping area of effect attack, killing within 1 tick, 2 tick, or 3 ticks, depending on the range of your Whirlwind. The next rune is one of the newest runes introduced just a couple months ago in Isleward, called the Taunt rune. You select the enemy you want to taunt, you click the number, and it aggroes them. It makes them attack you. Where this rune is going to come into play. Oh, cool. I guess I can aggro all of them. When you aggro a monster with the Taunt rune, it removes all of the aggression that monster or butcher has on any other player and forces them to attack you. Kind of cool. I'm going to use the Taunt rune together with the Whirlwind attack here to show some viability. You can taunt a bunch of players with a relatively inexpensive rune, 3 mana cost, and then use Whirlwind 1 time for a 7 mana cost to knock down all the enemies at once. And the last rune to go over for the bears is another new rune. It's another stunning rune. The Charge rune does stun the enemy on contact, and the Barbed Chain rune also stuns the enemy. As opposed to dashing towards the enemy, the Barbed Chain brings it to you. The Barbed Chain I have here, let me take off some gear to make my guy less strong, actually. we're gonna do our best to not one-hit these enemies, so let's remove some gear here. There we go. The Barbed Chain will drag an enemy towards you. It's a really cool rune. I love this rune. One of the best new runes in the system. You can taunt a guy, you can barb him towards you, and then let's taunt one more guy. Really quick cooldown on the taunt, and when they're all around you, before you die, boom. Before you die, boom. You use the Whirlwind, you take them all down. That was a close call there. Alright, back on my Saggy Crayon here. Quick explanation further about runes. There are bear runes, lynx runes, owl runes, but some runes mix the two spirits together. There are 3 runes I want to review that go over both bear and owl stat lines. And that would be the Harvest Life rune, the Blood Barrier rune, and the Summon Skeleton rune. The Harvest Life rune is one of the best bear runes, even though it scales off of strength and intellect, because it heals as you attack. You can hit someone with a Harvest Life attack, and it absorbs their health into yours, so you heal yourself while you attack. Notice the charge is instant. The Harvest Life does have a little bit of a delay. Alright, the next rune is going to be Blood Barrier. I'm going to cast Blood Barrier on my friend here, and you'll notice a couple things happen there. Let's do it one more time. I'm going to cast Blood Barrier on I Just Started. It damaged me. I'm using a little bit of my health to give a buff to I Just Started. It also aggroed the frog there. The buff given to I Just Started is namely a full heal. It also grants a Frenzy stack for I Just Started. I believe that's the same as a Flurry rune stack. The Blood Barrier rune is best used in PvE team battles. You can cast as a new player the Blood Barrier rune on a stronger player, and the team's better for it. You can stay out of the fight a little bit. Oh, let me heal this guy. And it will help them win their battle. Perfect example here with I Just Started in the Muck Prince. There we go. He got the win. I'm going to heal him back up and gather the loot that we both share because we both were impactful in that fight. The last rune is the Summon Skelly rune. Similar to the Cons rune, the Consecrate rune, you have to use your mouse to hover over some area to cast it. I'm going to cast my skeleton here, click the number 3 key, and boom, the skeleton spawns and goes to that tile. When I move around, the skeleton automatically will follow me, and when I engage in a fight, the Summon Skeleton will automatically fight that monster. Alright, checking out a new hero here, my Saggy Lynx. Big guess on what kind of runes I'm going to have here with this character. It's going to be the Lynx Runes. There's only really 2 runes specific for a Lynx, meaning it scales off of the Dexterity stat lines that you have, the main stat line for the Lynx. Those runes are going to be the Ambush and the Smoke Bomb. Smoke Bomb, one of the most broken runes in the game. If you want to solo the highest levels, the highest, most strongest monsters in the game, you need a Smoke Bomb. You need to be able to do an area of effect, constant attack Smoke Bomb, and you're going to need to have, I don't have one right now, you're going to need to have a Cowl of Obscurity and able to get heals on your crits with your Smoke Bomb. But there you go, this is a Smoke Bomb. I'm going to absolutely melt these mud crabs with this 3 range Smoke Bomb here. And the reason these crabs are melting, as opposed to a new player not melting the crab, is how high the dexterity is. Again, the dexterity scales with Smoke Bomb and ambush damage, just like strength scales with bear runes, such as your charge and your slash. So if you want to have stronger runes, get more dex, get more strength, get more intellect. Next, we'll go over the ambush. It is just like the charge rune, except there's a little bit of a cast time. And instead of hitting the front of the enemy, you sort of flash step Shunpo behind the enemy for a backstab. The ambush rune is traditionally much stronger than a charge rune, but the ambush rune has a delay on the cast time, which is why it's a little bit stronger than your traditional charge. Also, the ambush costs 7 mana to cast, when a charge rune only costs 3 mana to cast. Alright, and just like there is a partial strength intellect rune, your Harvest Life, your Summon Skellies, there is a dexterity int rune. There's just one of them at the moment, and it is the Crystal Spikes rune. Let me show you what it looks like. You've got 2 factors on your Crystal Spikes or your CS rune. Damage is obvious, and the delay is how long it takes for this rune to cast. You want the lowest delay possible. A delay of 1 is the best. Just like your cons, just like your Summon Skelly, you highlight your mouse cursor somewhere, and you click the number associated with the rune. For my Crystal Spikes, it would be a 3. And when I click 3, immediate cast. Hits the area right away. I guess it's a 1-tick delay, but not a significant delay. And you can see with a rune this strong, you can just absolutely melt any of these monsters that you're attacking. All right, we got Saggy Al booted up over here in the estuary. Instead of smashing crabs, let's take a look at some of the stronger monsters as we use these runes. Your Al runes, there's a lot of Al runes. You've got your Magic Missile, more of your traditional damage dealing rune. You have your Smite. Your Smite is your stun. Whereas Bear uses a charge or a barbed chain, Lynx uses an ambush to stun, your Owl uses the Smite rune to stun. Very strong rune. Fire Blast is your area of effect rune for an Owl. It does a little explosion, knocks back any enemies near you, hits them away depending on how good the rune is how far the knockback is. You have your Consecrate rune, which does area of effect healing. And then you'll have your Ice Spear rune, which will slow an enemy, and your Healing Touch rune, which is not an area of effect heal, such as the Consecrate rune. Instead, you can cast it on yourself or one other person and get some healing out there. So let's test them out. First, we'll try the Magic Missile. You select your enemy, click the number, make sure the monster is close enough to use it. You click the number associated, hits them with a pretty strong Magic Missile there. Let's get this guy away from me. He seems a little bit too close, so we're going to use the Fire Blast rune to knock this guy back. And then we'll use the Stun, which actually killed him, but that was the Smite rune. You'll notice that all of these Owl runes do have a cast time associated with them. So if you want to cast those runes a little bit faster, that's going to be your cast speed. You want to hit 134% cast speed to get significant results, or 150 cast speed to be casting these runes basically instantaneously. So to test out the Cons rune, let's get a couple monsters around me tearing me down, and highlight the cursor anywhere near you, select the Consecrate rune, and there you have it, healing up so you do not die. 12 mana cost on Cons, 5 mana on Fire Blast, 7 on Smite, 5 mana on your Magic Missile. So let's switch up some runes here. We're going to change out the Magic Missile with an Ice Spear, and the Cons for Healing Touch. Let's clean these animals up real quick. Couple Fire Blasts, and maybe a Stun, just to make sure we live. So let's do the Ice Spear real quick, because the Ice Spear is a little bit more straightforward, and then we'll spend some time talking about the Healing Touch rune, one of the newer runes in a very specific way to use Healing Touch in terms of casting that is unique to the Healing Touch. So let's hit the goat with an Ice Spear. The Ice Spear will slow down the goat. You notice after I cast Ice Spear, the goat's a little bit slower. So let's try that one more time. We're going to cast Ice Spear, and that goat is slowed significantly. Ice Spear is a great rune to kind of use together with other runes. You can slow a monster, you can stun a monster. Great opportunity to use Healing Touch on myself for an immediate full heal. Fire Blast knocks him back. Ice Spear to slow it down, stun the other guy. And these are just ways to use runes together. Just zap these guys down to finish them off. So that's the Ice Spear. It's a good rune to slow down the enemies. The last rune to talk about is your Healing Touch. You can select a friendly and cast Healing Touch on a friendly. You can't heal a monster, but the way to heal yourself with the Healing Touch rune, and it's the only rune that does this, hold down the Shift key and then cast your rune. You can see I just cast Healing Touch on myself. Alrighty, there are also runes that grant aura buffs for you and anybody else who is in your team. To show off the first aura buff, I'm using my Saggy Builder character, and let's show them off real quick. The first one is the Rune of Innervation. We call it the Innerve. What this rune does is increases your HP regeneration. I'm going to start the Innervation buff, and you can see my HP regen jumped from 50-something to 80-something. You use a couple Innervation runes together, and you can get your HP regeneration very high. Makes it harder for you to die to certain enemies. It gives you a nice red aura around you, and anybody that you invite to your party will also benefit if they are in close proximity to you. The next buff is going to be your Swift buff. The Rune of Swiftness lets you run a little bit faster. Typically, when I'm running left to right here, I have nothing giving me sprint, so it would be a little bit of a slower walk. You can see every now and then I skip a tile. So I'm really just popping along here. Another place where you can get a little bit of a faster movement speed is in your shoes. I use shoes with this character that shows sprint chance percentage, so I'm getting 38 sprint chance from these shoes, and my swiftness rune is giving me an additional 18% chance to go real fast. So that's your swift rune. The last area effect rune is going to be tranquility. Your rune of tranquility gives you mana regeneration. So innervation for health regen, tranquility for mana regen, and your rune of swift to make you go a little bit faster. What are the points of the tranquility rune? Well, let's say you're casting a bunch of runes, and your mana is really getting drained. You can't keep up with how many runes you're using. You pop these tranquility runes, and yes, it does take a percentage of your overall mana to use these runes, but your mana regens so much more quickly that it makes it worth it. It lets you cast runes more frequently because you get that mana back a little bit faster. Alright, there are 2 runes to go. I saved these runes for last because much like your Aura runes, Trank and Nerve Swift, these runes also do not scale off of anything. The first rune to look at is your Flurry. A lot of new players ask me if the Flurry rune is worth it. My answer is yes, at a high level. But if you're a low level player and you're using a very low level Flurry, it's still going to cost the same. It'll cost 10 mana, and you're not going to get a lot of return for that relatively expensive mana cost rune. So save the Flurries for when you have a strong Flurry. Save the Flurries for when you're a little bit later in the game. So let's check out the Flurry rune here. We're going to aggro some beavers and then retreat very quickly because we're in a bow build. And when I get to a safe distance, we're going to pop this Flurry, and you can see a little bit faster attacks going on. Let's get another example going here. Flurry is expensive. It drained my mana pretty quickly. So let's do another example here. I'm going to start the Flurry and then engage. And you can see those attacks really just come in way quicker than they normally would. Lets you sort of burst down the bad guys instead of slow, methodical attacks. There is a lot of chance to the Flurry. Sometimes the Flurry will spec and you'll get 4, 5, 6, 7 hits in a row. Sometimes you'll just get the 1. It's very much dependent on how high the chance is. Mine's 54, so more than half the time it will trigger a quick attack. And my duration is 18, so it's going to give me 2 or 3 attempts to get a Flurry sort of streak going there. The last rune, I've been using it here, it's the Rune of Roll. You highlight where you want to roll to, and you select that rune, and you'll get there. The Rune of Roll is great for a Lynx build. It helps you avoid monsters, it helps you avoid other players. Using a bow together with a roll is really fun. Let's attack one more group of animals here, one more group of monsters, just to showcase the Flurry together with the roll. We're gonna hit, we're gonna retreat, proc the Flurry, try to burst them down. Oops, go to the other side, keep hitting them. Awesome, there's one bad guy down, and I have not been hit yet. My mana's running low, so we need to escape. And I'm out of mana, so I can't hit another Flurry on this guy. But the Flurry and the roll helped us so much that we got the job done. Alright, that's all of the runes in Isleward. I appreciate everybody watching these videos. I hope that they are helpful to new players or even relatively experienced players to get a better understanding of how to use these runes, what situations they're best for. Alright guys, like and subscribe like always, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.